Story 1. It was not even a purchase, but one time when I was drunk, my partner and I were talking about butter. We decided to email the butter company to say they made the best butter, and they sent us a plush hedgehog. He is called Nedge the Hedgehog, and whenever I go on holiday, he is always with me. She died in 2013, and I have very few mementos, so it means a lot to me. Story 2. A device that makes cricket sounds that I hid in the ceiling of a mean coworker. It has been 6 months, and they talk about it daily. Story 3. A bicycle-shaped pizza cutter I bought a couple of years ago. It always makes me laugh every time I use it. Story 4. 50 whistles for $10. Live near the beach and listen to kids and parents screaming from May to September. Our neighborhood kicks off summer with a parade. Candy is tossed to kids, people dress up, and there is lots of fun. A few years ago, I stopped tossing candy and started tossing beaded necklaces that were very popular. Then I began attaching whistles to the necklaces. Every year I run out. Kids come running to our house to pick their favorite color and grab necklaces for their siblings. The parents always appreciate it. Every year, I take secret pleasure in hearing the kids blow whistles, knowing the parents have to listen to them on the green, at the beach, and in their backyards. I know I'm not nice, but this one day is a fair trade for letting the kids be wild the rest of the time. I have never had a parent complain. They think I am in the spirit of the party. A bulk order of 200 has already been placed for next year after several parents asked if I had enough for them too. Story 5. I have a soap dispenser shaped like a pigeon. When you wave your hand under its tail, it dispenses foam soap onto your hand. Story 6. We bought a fridge magnet featuring Moses looking at the burning bush, and it says, "My weed." Wow. Every time I see it, it makes me giggle. Well worth the $5. Story 7. A week before the lockdown, I intended to order 1 box of 48 rolls of toilet paper, but I accidentally ordered 2 boxes. We entered the pandemic with 96 rolls of toilet paper. I was very proud of myself. Story 8. A tiny 5-centimeter long blind box animal toy that you put on the edge of things. The animal in the blind box was a tiny hippopotamus. I put it at the bottom of the instrument cluster of my car. It fits in a small niche right in the middle. Its cute little face and feet peek out. If anyone brakes too hard, it falls down and makes a loud noise out of proportion to its size. One of my children is heavy on the brakes and accelerator, but that immediately stopped because they did not want that little tiny hippopotamus falling down. Having it there has made them a much better driver. Oh my goodness, how I love that tiny hippopotamus. Story 9. Packets of indigenous wildflower seeds are very affordable, and you can sprinkle them wherever there is green space to help pollinators. I live in Chicago, and I sprinkle them outside my workplace and other places I frequent. Before long, little colorful flowers appear. Story 10. A packet of decorative eyes. I stuck them on items all over the house the night before my boyfriend's birthday. Story 11. A dog toy which I kept for myself. I bought a random 5-pack of dog toys a few years ago. It was part of one of those spend a certain amount and get free shipping deals. The toy pack was enough to put me over the threshold, but less than the cost of shipping otherwise. So it was a no-brainer, especially since my little furry dog loses interest in toys after she meticulously removes their faces, using her snaggletooth as a stitch puller. We go through a lot of toys. 4 of them were regular squeaky toys, but the other was this goofy, adorable little floppy-eared thing that, when you squeeze its torso, its floppy ears stand up. There is no way I am going to let the little snaggletooth dog ruin the cutest toy I ever got. Now it lives in a little pouch hanging on my closet door, so I can see it every day. If I am feeling down, I can poke its belly and let its ears express my mood. Story 12. I bought a razor for my head that feels like running a toy car over it. It eases my worry of cutting myself as I glide the razor smoothly to achieve a perfect shave. Story 13. I just bought a 3-pound packet of macaron-shaped erasers. Do I need them? No. Do I love them? Immeasurably. Story 14. A $3 rat at Petco. I named him Gordon. He was my little buddy. He wasn't my first rat and wasn't the only rat I had at the time, but he was my heart rat. the friendliest, most chill little dude. I worked reception at a veterinary clinic and would take him to the office with me most days. He loved interacting with clients and my coworkers. He has been gone for over 20 years, but I still miss him and still have framed photos of him on my wall. Story 15. Silly Putty. I am 64 years old and doubt younger people will know what it is. The little red egg sits on my desk, and during long calls, I crack it open, stretch, pull, roll, and snap it. I love it. Story 16. A piece of iron and nickel. It is older than the earth. I like to think of it as the flesh of a god so old that nobody would exist for billions of years to even give it a name. It lives in a small reliquary jar I sometimes wear around my neck. I called it Steve, part of a protoplanetesimal that was destroyed in the formation of the early solar system and eventually crashed into China a few centuries ago. It is one of my favorite things. Story 17. Little trash grabber arm from the dollar store. I walk around pretending to be a robot and grab everyone in my immediate area. My kids hate it. I love it. 10 out of 10. It also picks up stuff off the floor. Story 18. A llama lamp. A ceramic llama with artistic cutouts and a small battery-operated tea light inside. It was probably meant to be a fun night light, but it brought me so much joy during a really dark time in my life. Llama lamp. Story 19. I got a small keychain little goat that screams when you push it for about $2. It was intended as a stocking stuffer, but I couldn't part with it. When my teenage son starts getting mouthy, I start goat screaming at him with it. I did that to my husband once, but he wasn't as amused as the teenage boy. Story 20. Flashlight with a strong magnet on the end. It is a beautiful thing. Gave them out at Christmas. Also, a pen that writes smoothly. Another beautiful item that makes life better. Story 21. A folding silk handheld fan. Less than $5. The silk makes it more durable than paper ones. It fits in a purse, pocket, or sleeve, so it is easy to take anywhere. I can put a drop of peppermint essential oil on it and fan myself with a cooling, refreshing scent. Great for hot weather or poor air quality days. Story 22. My husband spent $25 on our cat at Petco, and we received 16 years of joy and love from him. Miss you, Gadget. Story 23. I ride my bicycle to work every day. It is about 7 years old now. His name is Lulu and I love it. It brings me joy, but it was not a small purchase. The important thing is I have covered it with stickers. Hundreds of stickers. Each one has been a gift or a $2 purchase, and each one has meaning to me. So, stickers. Story 24. 31-cent strawflower seed packet from the dollar store. Grew the flowers from seed, keeping just 3 plants, and have been collecting the flowers to dry. The packet showed different colors but said mixed, and I ended up growing the color I wanted that was not even in the photo. What are the odds? Story 25. Pooter Tutor. Leslie Nielsen used to carry one, and after I learned about it back in the 1990s, I sent off my $6 and have had it ever since. Story 26. A small fluffy otter plushie I got at the San Diego Zoo. Yes, I am old, but it makes me smile every time I look at it. Story 27. Those $1 ducks in the front bins at Target. I always wanted a rubber ducky as a kid, but we were poor. Not sure why, but one day I decided to pop over and see what they had, and I saw unicorns, so I got all of them since I love unicorns. The following month, I saw a bin of ducks and got one of each kind. I went home, drew myself a bath, tossed them all in, and had myself a bath. It was silly, fun, and funny. Now, if I see a new batch of duckies, I'll get them and draw myself another bath. At this point, I almost have the surface area of the tub filled in. Story 28. A year or two ago, I purchased a rock from a homeless man living under a bridge. He told me it was a magical stone. I did not believe him, but I felt sorry for him, so I gave him £1 and took the rock. I put it into my pocket and forgot about it until later that evening. I decided to wash the rock because it was covered in dirt. After scrubbing it clean, I took a closer look and realized the rock had a slight bluish glow. I kept it with me for a while, and ever since then, I have had incredible luck. Perhaps it is just coincidence, but I truly believe the stone has some magical property. Recently, I took it to the casino and did not lose a single blackjack hand. The rock has already brought me a lot of money and joy. Story 29. Bought this stuffed monkey when running around with a friend in high school circa 1982. It has holes for its mouth, nostrils, and ears that its hands, fingers, feet, and toes can stick into. 4 kids and 10 grandkids have played with it. I hope to be buried with it someday. Story 30. The laser pointer my cat chases has switchable shapes, including a butterfly, mouse, smiley face, star, and the regular dot. It also functions as a torch and a black light. It charges via USB. I do not even remember where I got it. Story 31. Original Ghostbusters blue vinyl, framed for my sister as she is a huge fan of the movie, as a Christmas gift. I was never as excited to give a gift before. Total price was $25. Edit to add. I realize it is not small or the cheapest on this thread, but it gave me the most joy ever. Story 32. A magnet with a picture of Samuel L. Jackson in a convertible, and it says, "Get in, motherfucker, we're going motherfuckering." The "get in, loser" quote from Mean Girls. My partner bought it for me the day after our cat died, and every time I open my fridge, I smile. Story 33. Accidentally bought about 500 Australian koala bear keychains off eBay once. Ended up taking the whole bag with me on a trip to Bangladesh and Nepal and randomly gave them out to kids and rickshaw drivers along the way because I did not know what else to do with them. They were so happy. It makes me laugh to think about how many rickshaws are probably still getting around Bangladesh with random koala bears wearing little Australian jackets dangling off them to this day. Story 34. Bag of 125 1/8-inch magnets. Made a necklace, bracelets, a sheet, a cube, a dart game, and performed magnetic tricks to entertain the dog. Hours and hours of fun. Story 35. When I was a kid, I found a plastic bag. Since we did not have a lot of money for toys, I decided to tie it and mold it in a way that it looked humanoid. It was my favorite toy for years and brought me endless joy as a child. It is the only toy I still keep out of affection. In defense of 10-year-old me, it had much better mobility and articulation than any action figure. Story 36. Rhinestone car license frames. So gauche, but I do not care. I am 64, divorced, and this was my first brand new car I bought all by myself. I saved and saved, and I drove my 1999 Accord until it died. I really love them. Story 37. I couldn't think of a Christmas gift for my wife one year, so I bought her a sous vide machine on a whim. I thought it would be something to use once or twice and then forget about it. It became one of our favorite ways to make dinner. We use it weekly and even bought a second one as a backup. Story 38. A small $3 box from Temu with a plastic spider that jumps out. Very funny and works perfectly on the grandchildren. Story 39. I like those animal skeletons they sell around Halloween. I have 6 of them. My favorite is a little ghoul with horns. Story 40. When I was a child, I purchased a whistle ring. I blew it for hours. I wish I had one in my glove box now. Story 41. I got a small handheld vacuum at a yard sale for $5. I love it. I've been cleaning everything with it. I was so excited that I was at work dancing with the children in the Kentucky classroom, singing, "I got a mini vacuum." Another teacher came in, saw me dancing, and joined in. When she asked why we were celebrating, I said, "I got a mini vacuum." She kept dancing and saying, "Yeah, yeah, she got a vacuum." Story 42. A little figurine of a goat that, when you press it, sounds like a screaming goat. I press it when my students will not stop talking. They think it is hilarious, and so do I. Story 43. 2 Bulbasaur that has a clicky key as his sprout. Click, 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 click. Story 44. I have a magnet with two chocolate bunnies. One has his butt eaten and says, "My butt hurts." The other, who has his ears eaten, says, "Huh." I still chuckle at that one after 10 years of owning it. Story 45. A potty light is a small LED light that fits in your toilet with a motion sensor. It lights up in the dark, helping you find the toilet easily. Story 46. I bought a fridge magnet that looks like an alligator sticking its head out of a doghouse. The head is on a springy wire and bobs around when you poke it. I laugh and remember a fun time every time I make it go boing. Story 47. Slide sandals from Five Below look like marshmallows, but are quite supportive as they have a 1-inch platform. They are easy to clean because they are made of EVA material. I use them as my indoor shoes, which are easy on my knees. I went back in the fall last year to get another pair for upstairs, and they were clearance priced at $2.50. I got my very picky friend a pair too, and she can't take them off. I travel with them as well because I can easily wash them afterward. Best cheap purchase ever. Story 48. Paid for 2 tickets to go to an independent wrestling show at a county fair. Had no idea how it would go. It was outside and the weather was awful. But the wrestlers were there to put on a show, and it was a blast. Best money I have spent in years. Story 49. Many years ago, I bought one of those obnoxious chicken toys that make a weird honking noise. My friends and I took it on a hike and mountain bike ride. I have to say, it was ridiculously funny playing with that toy all day. The picture still comes up on my photo feed of it in my friend's backpack, sticking out and looking over his shoulder. It makes me laugh every time. Story 50. I paid $1 for a small plastic frog on a spring attached to a suction cup. My wife has played with it for over 10 years. She takes it with her from vehicle to vehicle. Story 51. Mad Magazine had an advertisement in the back for a package of sticker packs featuring pictures of screws. The idea was that you would place them over the heart on people's "I love my whatever" bumper stickers. I found a car with an "I love my Great Dane" sticker and put the screw sticker over the heart. 50 years later, it still makes me laugh thinking about the owner finding my sticker. Story 52. A single-serving chocolate fondue pot that I paid $8 for. You heat it with a votive candle so I can use it even if the power is out. Story 53. One of these guys. They are so ridiculously cute and always good for a smile. Story 54. Once, I went out with my former girlfriend and bought a small wooden statue. I still have it to this day. Story 55. On a field trip to Washington, D.C. outside Ford's Theater, I bought a cheap novelty switchblade comb. I used it all the time, flicking it open and closing it repeatedly. So satisfying. Story 56. Not me, but my daughter got me a fidget spinner 10 years ago at 7-Eleven for about $1.99. It sits on my desk, and I use it every day of my life. Story 57. Not really the smallest, but a $30 Lego kit. For the money, it was definitely fun. Up until then, I had not built with Lego in 30 years. Story 58. A plastic Bulbasaur. It was only 1 inch long, but I love him. He sits on the mirror ledge in my bathroom. Story 59. A little chair for my phone. It only costs about 1 or 2 pounds. I like that I can find my phone, charge it, and because it is raised, if I am listening to something, the speakers are clear. Story 60. A pack of chum gum after I thought it had been discontinued. It had an amazing, addictive flavor that I can still vividly imagine, but the flavor disappeared after 15 minutes of chewing. Story 61. Eating adobus torta by the European Union trained pastry chef at Mozart's brings tears to my eyes thinking about my late favorite Armenian-Hungarian grandmother, who always made us exquisite three-course meals from scratch every day while on vacation. Story 62. An extra set of measuring cups and spoons allows me to make more dishes without stopping to clean them. Every time I use them, it makes me smile and feels like a luxury. Story 63. Old school bugle horn for my bicycle. Honk it as I ride past people. Kind of a greeting, mostly positive responses. Cost me $8. Story 64. Homer Simpson beer opener that says when you use it, beer, and makes gulping sounds. It always gives me a smile. Story 65. My husband just bought me a replica Jurassic Park Barbasol can for my work desk. As soon as I saw it, I laughed like a crazy person and unscrewed the bottom. I am trying to figure out what I am going to put in the little tubes. Story 66. I bought a snow globe from Burlington years ago. It features a cactus decorated as a Christmas tree. On the pink base, it says Merry Cactus. It is my favorite Christmas decoration. Story 67. A $12 scarf that went with almost everything. I wore it for years, not just on first dates, job interviews, and special occasions, but at least once a week, until my son ruined it with glue. He was 6. Irritating, yes, but there are other scarves. My son understood the seriousness of the situation when he asked me a few months later, "Why don't you wear the pretty scarf anymore?" Story 68. A sign for the bathroom with a raccoon on it, presenting a roll of toilet paper. It says, "You're but napkins, my lady." Story 69. A Bluetooth to headphones adapter with a gender changer, so I can plug it into my car stereo. I can use headphones with my phone, play my phone through the car speakers, and listen to my laptop from a distance, which is good for watching videos. Costs about $6. Story 70. A green frog that ribbits when pressed. I occasionally make it ribbit at work, and it makes people nuts. I love it so much. Story 71. I have 2 Roku remotes but only one working Roku unit, so I gave the extra one to my wife in the TV room. No more fighting over the remote or trying to find it if it gets misplaced. It has been great. The other day, I spent about $25 on a new LG remote for the TV in our bedroom and gave it to my wife. Now, peace with the TV remotes reigns in our household. Story 72. A little box with a spider that hops out when opened. Grown men have almost flipped their chairs trying to get out of the way. Story 73. A clear plastic bird feeder that attaches to the outside of a window. By far the best $30 I have spent. We love that feeder and have gotten so much enjoyment from watching all the birds. Doves can be aggressive, which is amusing. Story 74. A bathroom mat with a picture of a frog. It is just cute and makes me smile every time I walk in. Even on a terrible day, it brings a little bit of joy every time. Story 75. A keychain had a bright orange key fob with a name or funny saying on it. Mine said, "Keys I haven't lost yet." I had that fob for over 20 years before the plastic piece connecting it to the key holder, the metal circle that holds the keys, finally wore through and broke. I could find those keys with even a small amount of light because the color made them stand out. When it broke, I tried to find another one, but so far no luck. I'm probably not checking the right places that sell novelty key fobs. Story 76. A keychain with a spinner. The arrow says an offensive word, and the options are you, me, this, off, that, and it. Edit. I just spun it and it landed on off. Story 77. I didn't even have to buy this because I found it on a beach. A chunk of granite about the size of a ping pong ball. It's almost completely round from the wave action, but it has little bumps and dips all over due to the different hardnesses of the minerals. If you roll it slowly on the right kind of surface, a wood table for example, it will wobble around as if it is drunk. It takes longer than you would think for it to settle down completely. I love it, and it is one of my favorite treasures. Story 78. A $2 grumpy and happy octopus plush keyring I found in the supermarket one day that my fiancé and I now hide around the house for each other to find. Story 79. A little glass octopus I found at a pet store was sold as a small decoration for betta tanks. It was no bigger than the tip of my thumb. I saw the little octopus at the checkout counter and felt an inclination to add him to my purchases. I named him Ashi, and he has been part of my desk setup for the last 13 years. His silly little face still fills me with joy. A bonus surprise I found after buying him is that he glows in the dark. Story 80. About a week ago, I gave a souvenir store $5 for a magnet. That magnet represents the culmination of two dreams. Mine, to see whales, and my youngest child's, to touch the ocean. Finally, in my 40th year, we made it all the way to Tofino. Story 81. $8.99 changed my life. I bought a set of 2 latches that allow the bathroom door to be open so the cat can get to her litter box. But they do not let the dog in to eat fresh cat waste. She would also get herself stuck in the dark bathroom for hours. We tried many things to keep the dog out of the litter box, and this is the only solution that has worked. Story 82. Of these things, I don't know why, but they brought me enormous joy and still do. I first bought them when I was about 10 years old, and I would buy them now as a 65-year-old man. Story 83. $5 box of assorted size googly eyes. As a mechanic, I find spots that only my fellow technicians will come across and place them there. I may not be around when they are found, but I have a lot of fun placing them. Story 84. A square plush cat from a store in Glasgow on my honeymoon. That item got squished in my luggage on the way back to Australia, and nothing happened to its silly face. Story 85. A disco ball hanging planter and toile wallpaper with aliens used inside a secretary desk. Story 86. I'm not good at picking the best of so many options, but the first that comes to mind is a pair of socks with shrimp on them. I breed freshwater dwarf shrimp in a couple of different colors. The socks brought me so much joy to find. I save them for days when I am working on my tanks. They are simply the best. Story 87. A few tablets of lysergic acid diethylamide. Edit. I am not sure why this was downvoted. It was a poor purchase, it was really small, and I loved every minute of it. It met all the requirements. Today, a young man on lysergic acid diethylamide realized that all matter is merely energy condensed into a slow vibration. Story 88. A spinning top. I would play with it all day for the first few days. Then I threw it somewhere, maybe in a cupboard, and I never use it now. Story 89. I work from home. I have a mouse pad I bought on Amazon for about $6 that says, "The beach is my happy place." That way, when I am in the middle of a workday, I get to think about the beach. Story 90. A badge for the Cryptid Conservation Corps Chupacabra Reintroduction Program. I put it in my Jeep a year ago and still get a chuckle out of it. Story 91. I am a Smisky enjoyer. While technically useless, seeing the little glowing green figures hanging out in my plants or on my bookshelves makes me smile. Story 92. Rubber duck bike horn and squeaker. I love it and it cracks me up when dogs bark at it. Yes, my own dog does too. Story 93. Flower seeds for a flower garden have produced beautiful flowers over the last several months that I can cut, arrange, gift, and enjoy. Story 94. My son bought me this 8-in-1 screwdriver set for Christmas when he was a little boy, about 25 years ago, and it is one of my favorite things. No more searching for a screwdriver. I keep it in the kitchen and it is very easy to keep track of. Story 95. A small yellow rubber duck flipping an obscene gesture. It was $1.99, and every time I pass by it, it puts a grin on my face. Story 96. A $2 little plastic gold ring with a small rubber water pouch that you can squirt water from the front of the ring. The number of people who got a close look at my cool new gold skull ring, which I then squirted in the face, has probably added a decade of joy to my life. Story 97. A mood ring. My best friend at the time got one too, so every time mine showed a color that did not match my mood, I told myself that it was transmitting hers. Silly but fun. Story 98. A hand-sized black jelly slug. It sticks to smooth surfaces, including skin. Many photos were taken, and now it lives on top of my giant snail tank. Story 99. I got a banana hanger that is a monkey with his tail curled. You hang the bananas from the tail. I bought it for $5 and my father expressed instant disgust. I use it almost every day. Story 100. A 14-inch large cast iron skillet with 2 small handles. I use it for making pizza. I have had it for 3 years and I still think it is excellent. Story 101. My now wife bought me a basic metal back scratcher for a couple of dollars from a Chinese souvenir stall about 19 years ago. It still gets regular use by both of us. Story 102. I have a small keychain of Don from Taiko no Tatsujin, the little blue drum character. When you press his face, it makes the drum sound from the game. I bought it at an anime convention for $12 around 2012, and it brings me endless joy. Sometimes I just sit and tap it. The sticker on the face is starting to wear off from frequent use, but I still love it. Story 103. A teapot in the shape of a very unfortunate-looking American bulldog. I call him Mr. Jones, and he is the apple of my eye. Story 104. I have a small plastic Grover from Sesame Street. It is the Super Grover with the cape. I got it from my job as an arcade attendant when I was 16. It was a prize you could win for a certain amount of tickets. This little Grover figurine has been with me everywhere since then. It always lives in my medicine cabinet or equivalent. I have moved countless times. For 30 years now, Grover always hangs out near my toiletries. Story 105. Bought a metal plate sign from Wish with Jesus and the quote, "Don't be a jerk, Jesus." It's on top of my stereo and LP player shelf, the centerpiece of my living room. Story 106. I bought a small troll doll lighter holder that wears a sweater. And years later it is still a thrill every time I take him out when someone asks for a lighter. My baby. Story 107. I impulse bought a small duck that you hang from your rearview mirror, and now Gladys puts a smile on my face whenever I get in my car. Story 108. A cherry pitter and a strawberry huller make me smile because these little purchases have been worthwhile. Story 109. Dragon head attachment for my instant pot release valve. When you vent it, the steam makes the dragon look like it is breathing smoke. Story 110. Small jar of tiny, colorful ducks. Sometimes I leave little ducks for people to find in nature and hopefully adopt them. Story 111. I am a cleaner. I mostly do residential cleaning, but I also clean a couple of commercial properties. One is a church. They had a free box outside. There was a small lilac unicorn with a long body, like one of those little rubber toys you might get from a coin-operated machine. It is draped over my phone mount in my car. It makes me smile every day. Story 112. These little Asian sticker scene books are wonderful. I am disabled, so I am always looking for inexpensive activities to occupy my mind. I listen to podcasts while using them. They are fun and cute. I want to collect all of them. Story 113. A rotary grater with a handle that suctions to your counter. Grating cheese is difficult, and it doesn't have to be. Story 114. Pendleton makes huge, beautiful towels. They are expensive, around $60, but you can get them on sale on Black Friday. They are very pretty, and every time I use one after a shower or at the beach, I feel beautiful and fancy. Truly worth it. Story 115. Flying finger chickens. I ambushed everyone, even the cat and horses. I still pee myself laughing, and so do most people. Story 116. My Steam Deck was found in a pawn shop and purchased immediately at a bargain because the employees did not know or understand what they had. Story 117. Chip clips shaped like a Ruffles potato chip. I am happy every time I use them and absolutely gleeful when I use them on a bag of regular Ruffles. Story 118. I have an 8-inch tall garden gnome on my front porch. He wears a red hat and a blue tunic. He guards the house and front yard. I had a different gnome, but he broke when a neighbor's child crashed into him with a bike. My wife got me a new gnome and he is excellent. Rain or shine, day and night, he is always standing there on duty, just doing his thing. I need to get him a buddy to hang out with. I get immense satisfaction just seeing him resting there on the front porch. Story 119. I bought a 100-pack of stretchy lizards. For a while, I was hiding them around my job and giving them to little kids. I hand them out at Halloween, and my cat loves them. Story 120. I love my battery daddy. It is so organized, and I no longer have batteries rolling around in my drawers. Story 121. One of those battery-operated tennis racket-shaped fly swatters that essentially electrocutes them to death. When we get house flies, a part of me is completely delighted. Story 122. A coin sorter that fits in my hand that I use for European Union coins when I am in Europe. It is so quick for me to pull it out when I pay. I do not have the proprioceptive feel of European Union coins to just pull one out of my pocket without looking at it first. The sorter makes it so much easier. Story 123. Had to stop to go to the bathroom, and the only place within miles was a dinosaur museum. The gift shop required a purchase to use the bathroom. I found the cheapest dinosaur plush for about $3. It sits on my dashboard. Its name is Stuart. It is also accompanied by a Octopus. Story 124. I paid $2.99 for Bloons Tower Defense 3 in 9th grade and probably spent over 500 hours playing it by graduation. Those 500 hours could have been used for learning. Story 125. A wall-mounted battery organizer and a small tool pegboard are both installed in a closet on the main floor of my house. Now I never have to spend countless hours rummaging through the junk drawer or the basement for AAA batteries when the remote dies, or when I need a Phillips head screwdriver to quickly fix something. Story 126. My late wife bought me a Homer Simpson clock that has Homer saying something Homeresque at the top of every hour. My favorite is, "This year I invested in pumpkins." Story 127. A yellow vase with tiny painted flowers on it. Currently, it holds artificial flowers. What makes me smile is that on the other side of the vase, there is a painted cat that looks like it is crawling up the vase. Sometimes after it gets dusted, the cat peeks around and makes me giggle. I need more things in my life that simply make me smile. Story 128. I bought a sticker of Batman in a wedding dress at a convention today. I keep looking at it. It is silly, and he looks ridiculous, but it makes me very happy. Story 129. Jumping spider cage. I caught a wild one after accidentally covering it in water. I had an extra cage lying around. She is so happy in her setup. It's the best. Story 130. Those iron fish that infuse into your pasta while cooking. I do not need to worry about iron, but I feel this helps without taking an extra pill. Story 131. A little black cat figurine wearing a witch hat has eyes that follow you as you move. He is adorable and sits on my nightstand, watching over my room. Story 132. This little fellow. We have a pink one too, a he and a she. My partner went into the hospital for a procedure, so I sneaked it into his bag. It was the first thing he saw when he woke up, and he swore at it. Story 133. Buy yourself a new razor or new blades for your existing razor. It does not have to be fancy, just get new ones. You will not realize how poor of a shave you have been getting until you get a proper shave with brand new blades. Most of us do not replace blades or razors nearly as often as we should. Story 134. I bought a spaceship-based game called Faster Than Light maybe 10 years ago for about $5. It is possibly the best entertainment to cost ratio of all time, at least for me. I have not had a computer that can run Steam or games at all for a few years, and the only thing I ever regret about that is that game. Story 135. These socks. I knew when I bought them it was time to leave my job. Now I have a different job and wear them on Fridays only. Story 136. My best friend's daughter had a lava lamp but became afraid that it gets hot. So I bought it from her last week. I had one at her age and loved it, and I have been wanting to get one again. It is pink, yellow, and orange, and it is my favorite thing right now. I turn it on every night. Story 137. Bag clips shaped like alligator heads or mouths. I saw them at Aldi a few years ago. They were about $3 for a 2-pack. They still make me smile every time I use them. Story 138. I bought an ear camera that connects to my phone so I can examine my ears and see everything. I have a large amount of earwax, so it is incredibly satisfying. Story 139. I bought a 50-gallon planter from Costco for $16.99. Using all my leftover aquarium supplies, I made it into a container pond with a waterfall. It brings me so much joy to hear the water feature. Story 140. I bought a pack of 10 plastic springs on Temu for 60 cents. They are made for cats to play with. My cats chase them around the house with abandon and joy, and I love watching them. Story 141. A Matchbox toy car that looks almost exactly like mine, even has the same color. The only difference is sedan versus hatchback. I got it from Dollarama and bought a couple more whenever I saw them again at other stores. I also left one under the windshield wiper of a stranger's car of the same make, model, and color for them to find when they returned to their car. Story 142. A wooden pelican toy with wheels that have rubber feet. When you push it around, it goes flap, 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 flap. Story 143. Not me, but in high school we had a teacher buy 50 kazoos and hand them out to the orchestra and band students. This was back when plastic kazoos cost about 25 cents each in bulk. That Christmas, we got on stage, put down all our instruments, and played God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen on kazoo while he tried not to die laughing. Actually me. Walking into an art store and knowing that I can buy any pen or pencil I want fills me with great joy. Story 144. A squishmallow that is a fruit bat, literally. He is a little orange turned into a bat with small fangs, wings, and a stem with a leaf. His tummy has orange wedges sewn into it. I laughed when I saw him and loved the excellent pun. Plus, orange is my favorite color. My daughter sometimes takes him to love on, but Barnett is my buddy. He lives in my room, and I love him very much. Story 145. I like flashlights. I have a small one that lights up my whole yard. I smile every time I activate turbo mode. Story 146. I have a blanket that has cats with cowboy hats on it. I call it Cowboy Kitties. I bring it everywhere I go now and cannot sleep without it. I got it when my husband almost died from a stroke. It kept us both company and comfort through many long and difficult nights. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.